also agree with Rxbbn that.
You're lucky this is recorded.
Thanks for joining us for our 10th episode of We Burn, We Rise. Today I'm joined by Hyperion and Karma, as well as Rxbbn, our lead dev. Our director of development, Rob, is always watching. Alongside Ravi, going to be joining us later on as well from Phoenix HQ. Cobalt Mike, I don't see him, but he's supposed to be sliding in later. Shout out as always to Fire. He's not doing too well, so keep him in your thoughts. Steve from RYI, and lastly, inviting our special guest, we've got Mo representing Zebrocoin. We're happy to have you all with us today as we bring you updates with news from all across the Phoenix initiative. Today, we're going to be talking about the DEX beta updates with Robin, as well as the wrapped Phoenix on BNB and Pancake Swap integration. We might have some updates from the HQ with Rob. If Mike wants to come on and talk about the Paradox stuff, he's welcome to do that. We've got updates coming from Zebrocoin, and then we're going to follow that up with Karmageddon, where Karma takes an in-depth look into Zebrocoin and throws some questions at Mo. Lastly, we're going to open up for Q&A to the community. Keep in mind that the Q&A is recorded, so we appreciate the community's adherence to keeping the discussion profanity-free. Don't forget to sign the form pinned in main to get your attendance NFT for this meeting. I'd like to start off by handing the baton to Robin to talk about the DEX.
Yeah, so it has been an eventful past 2 weeks. As of right now, I think we have 4 tokens listed on the DEX with and without liquidity. I actually just got Zebro and Zebro USD added onto there, so whenever liquidity's added and we get the okay, those tokens will be tradable. Part of the last week for me was some bug fixes. There were some issues with the liquidity pools where they weren't displaying if you had a liquidity position. That's mostly been fixed. As in, you can see your positions, you can see the first pair, and then the contract address for the second token that it's paired with. So I'm still working through that bug. Essentially, when the DEX tries to make what's called a call to that contract to fetch its name or symbol, it throws an error, so I'm reworking some pieces to make it a little more fluid, but the functionality is perfectly fine. So everything's good on that end. As far as the bridge to Pancakes, or to Binance Smart Chain and the pairing of wrapped Phoenix and USDC on Pancake Swap goes, Fluffy and I on Friday, we bridged over 1,000 wrapped Phoenix tokens and paired it with about $200 of USDC, which came out of Fluffy's pocket directly. We also locked that liquidity for 420 years and 6.9 hours at Fluffy's discretion. So that liquidity is not going to be going anywhere. One of the issues with the bridge right now is I have to manually bridge tokens to and from Phoenix and any other chain. So I'm working on a couple things with getting that sorted out. One of the things, and I've mentioned this before, is going to be the multi-chain bridge, which over the next day or two I should have set up, or mostly set up. And that'll allow anyone within any community to bridge from Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Kronos, all of those over onto Phoenix and vice versa. So we'll have things like Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, any of your other favorite assets that are supported on multichain.org. Yeah, multichain.org. So any of those we'll be able to bridge to
Luna,
from.
Right?
Yes, we will bridge Luna.
Luna?
Yes, 100%. So that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of those things. Let's see here. I'm getting this form made real quick.
we can't stop at just Luna. It has to be UST pairing too. So
yes, Luna and
God.
UST. That's the way we're going. I mean, realistically, it is something we can do, but I don't feel super inclined to really open the gates for Luna. But it's something that's possible.
Now the UST thing,
the 40 cent US dollar.
Rugged projects, right?
Yep. Let's see here. Okay, I'm about to drop the link in the chat for the weekly form, and then I'll get back on my train of thought. Okay.
And I'll derail it again.
It's fine. It's one of those days. Trying to think here. So one of the other things with the decks, let's see. Yeah, so one of the things with the decks that I am going to be working on over the next couple weeks, it's actually two things. So the first one is going to be staking, because that's just something that'll help us increase our total value locked on our chain specifically. And if you have ever heard of any of the more popular like screeners, like Dex Screener, Dex Tools, any of those guys, they have minimum requirements to be listed on their websites, regardless of if they charge for the listing or not. The most common two that they ask for are $50,000 in average trading volume daily, as well as $500,000 in locked liquidity. So having the bridge open for other assets to come over to our chain will hopefully take some of the steps out of the equation for us getting that total value locked. And then offering the staking pool similar to how PancakeSwap and Uniswap run it, that'll help us secure that total value locked for a longer portion of time. And these are things that can be enabled by different communities. They can apply for special pools or special treatment. So let's say, and just as an example, X token just launched on the DEX. They want to entice people to stake their tokens or stake their liquidity tokens. They can say, all right, we want to offer this APR, and then we'll give X amount of this currency towards the staking pools. That's something that we'll have the ability to allow access for. So let's say in this example, since he's one of our guests this week, Mo wants to set up a Zebro in Phoenix pool. In this case, if you stake 100 Phoenix on there, you can earn X percentage, and as more people get into that pool, the percentage will slowly decrease to keep it fair. That way you don't have one person that's making 30% and another person that's making 1% annually. It'll help balance things out so the pool doesn't get too much liquidity to the point where it can't sustain itself. So that's just one of those things that I've got to work through, get the contracts made for. I've also spoken with another project, another blockchain that's been around since 2014, and they love what we're doing and are interested in bridging from their network over to our network in its entirety. So that's something I'm working with their developers on, but essentially the long and short behind why is they've been around for a very long time. They've seen a lot of development teams come and go for their project specifically, and now there's only about 2 team members left that don't have the proper knowledge to keep their wallet for their chain supported. So they're kind of left with 2 options. They can either hope everything stays good for a long time, or they can start bridging over once we get a couple more things ready, and then their entire user base will be able to continue trading like they normally have and utilize the coin for what it's used for. So it's just another set of people that we can bring into the Phoenix ecosystem, and it will help them grow. It'll help us grow because it'll give them the ability to use DeFi applications because of us being an EVM and them not being an EVM. So it opens the door a lot for both of us. Let's see here. I've been busy. I'm trying to think.
So since he's deployed WPHX, some people that might be on CoinMarketCap might notice that we are tracked on WPHX already.
Yes.
Working on CoinGecko next, but we're there. We're almost there. Yeah. So.
I saw that. I got a notification on my phone when I woke up, and I'm like, oh, it was like Phoenix is down 30%. And I'm like, that's $2.38. That is not down.
Yeah.
So
I saw 2,000% up. I was like, what happened?
it was kind of funny because I got a couple messages yesterday, and people were like, Phoenix is at $6. No, wait, it's at $7. I'm like, this is an issue for me because now I've got to figure out the liquidity side at that price. But it's a good show that people are willing to pay that much per token in this case, but realistically that much per coin. So it gives us a good sight into the future of the fact that people are willing to pay almost $10 per token compared to us being at 20 cents right now, give or take. So I'm very happy. Not to say that the bridge was an experiment, but it did give us some valuable insight into other ecosystems. Next steps for bridge specifically are going to be getting a bridge to Crow, which is Crypto.com's chain. Eventually Ethereum, I would like, but that one's going to be a little bit more expensive, so we'll get there eventually. And then we have a couple other EVMs that we can also bridge over to as well. That way we have the ability to pull a lot of users in from pretty much every pre-existing ecosystem. And if anyone here knows Crow, people that are heavily invested in Crow are not exactly happy with it because the network is slow and it's expensive to use. Now, granted, it is comparable to BSC, but when you're looking at each token or coin being worth about 20-30 cents and you're having to spend 2 to 3 for a single transaction, people don't like seeing that large number that they're spending, even though it is only 20 or 30 cents for a transaction on the low end. So basically, I am getting a lot of things prepared to essentially open the floodgates, is the way I look at it, because once we open the bridge for all these other chains, the floodgates are open. People can move to and from very easily, both with Phoenix, but with other assets that they would like to have on our network. So
Can you give just a little bit of a dumbed down version? So if you bridge from Phoenix to BSC, for instance, you're going to have to pay a fee in BSC, or, just a little.
Yeah. So the way, and I'll explain it with how multi-chain works. So I've used multi-chain personally for a while to get from ETH to BSC, BSC to Crow, anything else. And they charge, I want to say, like a 30 cent to $1 fee, depending on which network it's going to and from. So it's less than your average transaction for gas, because the way bridges work is a lock, mint, and burn function. So in the example of Phoenix to BSC, the way the bridge works is the tokens on the Phoenix side get locked, meaning nobody can touch them unless they are bridged back over. So not even I, the person who created the bridge, can bring those tokens back into existence without the tokens being burned on the BSC side. So essentially, let's say I want to send 100 Phoenix from our network over to BSC. It locks 100 tokens on our network, bridges them over, and mints 100 new tokens into the supply on BSC, and those are static values. Until there's another bridge that happens to or from, that supply stays the same. And again, it's not something that I or any other person could manipulate, because the bridge works off of 2 values. If the 2 values don't match up, it throws a reverted signal and sends the transaction back. So just to kind of boil it down a little bit more, if I wanted to mint, let's say 10,000 Phoenix or wrapped Phoenix on BSC, I literally do not have the capability to do so unless I lock up or burn 100 or 1,000, whatever number I said, on the Phoenix side. And that's how all bridges work as well. They're just a series of smart contracts that have those lock, mint, and burn functions. And right now with the bridge, the average transaction time, like round trip, so if I'm sending Phoenix to BSC, it's about 10 minutes. So there's room for optimization there, but it's 10 minutes because of how many blocks it counts for before it's saying, okay, this actually exists on the chain.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So, and
That's
I
awesome.
think that covers the majority of all my updates for the week. Just a lot of back-end work, so nothing too glamorous, but we're taking a lot of big steps to get where we want to go with a lot of things we've been working on for 9 months now.
So pardon my ignorance, if I may ask, and if I already asked this, I apologize. But for those of us that have Phoenix focused on the Phoenix blockchain, right now there's not a lot we can do on the BSC chain. Is that correct?
Correct. And the reason for this is because we have an extremely low liquidity on the BSC side. So my belief behind the bridge right now is we are bridging for liquidity and any other initiatives that will help build out Phoenix on the BSC side. I'm not just going, since I'm the only one that has access to the bridge, and that's not saying other people couldn't build a bridge. If another developer decided I want to bridge my tokens from BS or from Phoenix to BSC, the documentation's out there, so I'm not stopping anyone from doing it themselves. It's more just I personally won't, unless it's to help sustain the ecosystem on both ends. Because
we're still in beta with the swap, Jack, so
Yep.
that's also a reason to first
And
test
for-
everything out, because if you release it now and we have bugs, then we have to correct them outside the team, and that's why we still have it limited.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. So my follow-up question would be, for example, if I came to you and said, okay, I have 2,000 Phoenix from the Phoenix Network chain, and I want to, and I've already asked this, but just to clarify it, I want to add to the liquidity, and you want to build that bridge for me. You're saying that is something you could do in terms of adding liquidity.
correct. So the way that process would work is I personally would just like to see that, okay, you do have the USDC or BNB that it will be paired with. That way I am not knowledgeably bridging tokens over for somebody to sell on Fluffy's money that he put into this. But yeah, if you said, hey, I want to add 2,000 Phoenix into the liquidity pool, I also have X amount of USDC or the equivalent in BNB, I'm happy to get that bridged over, because the sooner we get more bridged over and added / block into liquidity, the better it's going to be for all of us on BSC. Because the reason you see the price jumping so high is because it's low liquidity right now. So somebody spending $100 could increase the price significantly because there's not a lot of liquid in there. Yeah.
Who's
no
ready
problem.
who's ready for a bummer question?
Hit me.
If you are the only one that has access to this and that, and God forbid that something happened to you, you get sick or something, do we have cross access between the dev team?
So I can give access to the dev team or anyone else that I want. The thing with it is, though, the bridge, like the contracts already exist. And if somebody wanted to create a secondary bridge, it would, with the work I've done so far, realistically, if someone's knowledgeable enough, it wouldn't take them all that long to get a secondary bridge set up. which is why I'm more focused on the multi-chain bridge being up and functional. That way, there's no single person that's responsible for the bridge. It's all just going to be an automated process. So that will give us redundancy. The main purpose for this bridge was really just to get some supply over onto BSC to allow RYI to start their staking pools, allow us to set up a liquidity pair, and then say we have also officially bridged over. So it's kind of, it wasn't as much for trading per se. That's just kind of a byproduct of us bridging and adding liquidity. It was more just so we could have it there. So we're now officially multi-chain.
And I just want to comment separately. We do focus on redundancy on everything. So between social accounts, between access to everything that the developers work, we do have a redundancy idea in place for everything. So everything else is redundant. We'll probably make this redundant as well in the future.
Yeah, and as an example, like Fluffy was on with me the entire time I was building the bridge and for any transactions that we were bridging. So if I was to go MIA, Fluffy has access to everything he needs to be able to bridge assets over. But the reason that I'm seeking other avenues is everything's manually processed right now, and it runs off of a wallet that was created specifically for the bridge rather than a smart contract to handle those transactions. So as an example, when John wanted to bridge over, he sent the bridge wallet 6,000 wrapped Phoenix tokens for me to send to him on the BSC side. And all of these commands have to be manually executed, and there's ways of automating them. It's just, we can either spend the time working through the automations and making a user-friendly interface, or we can seek out the things that we've already begun setting up with multi-chain. That way, it basically just opens up the floodgates, like I said.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Before we answer any more questions, I would like to hand the mic over to Mo. Tell us about Zebrocoin.
Looks like he's muted.
I think he might have been AFK for a second. Let's see. Hello, Mo.
Hi there.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So how are you guys?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
Okay, I'm fine. First of all, I would like to thank you all for inviting me on this episode, also supporting Zebrocoin. Thanks a lot. I would especially like to thank Rob, Fluffy, and the other guy, Robin, for Fireswap. And I've got some special thing created for you guys. This is for Fireswap. For Phoenix.
Cool.
Yeah. And this is the Zebrocoin Phoenix on Phoenix chain. Well, before you start questions, I would like to say something about Zebrocoin. Well, see, Zebrocoins, technically it's just a token, nothing else, right? But we have a concept, a good concept, which can benefit all the investors and Zebrocoin, but it will definitely take some time, you know. Right now, we don't have much liquidity. We don't have good coders, developers, but this is just beginning. And definitely we're gonna go ahead with this and we'll make something out of it. And everyone invested in Zebrocoin will make at least something out of it in long term. Okay, now you guys, if you have any question, you can ask me. And my English is not very good, so you guys have to bear with me, right?
Before even questions, for those that don't know, Zebrocoin they deployed by themselves. It was very impressive. I don't think we even helped you with anything. You just deployed your contract to the token on Phoenix, which was wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, but actually, I want to build something like very useful. not just a token, not a pump and dump game or just the liquidity game. See, technically nowadays all the tokens are backed by liquidity. They run by liquidity, and in short or long term, developers rug pull. This is what happens. But I want to make a use of Zebrocoin, like in another website of mine, which is e-commerce platform zebrocard.com. I would like to integrate this token into that. I would like to integrate Zebrocoin in other chains also, right? And wallets. We want to do a lot, but as a beginning, we have to arrange some good liquidity first, right? And we need some support from other chains like Phoenix. Phoenix team did a lot of support to me, right? So if you guys have any question about Zebrocoin, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to toss it over to Karmageddon here, and she's got some questions for you, especially about the future of the project going forward.
Yeah. Hey, Mo. How are you today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. So, I did want to ask you just how did Zebra came to be? How did you think it up?
Well, actually, it was planned in 2019, but that time was very bad for cryptocurrency. So, uh, meanwhile, we built an e-commerce platform, zebrocard.com, which is not doing well so far, but it has a support for Zebrocoin, right? Once the Zebrocoin is integrated into the zebrocard.com, it's difficult. It's not easy because there are so many rules and regulation about cryptocurrency. So not directly, but ultimately, I want to integrate Zebrocoin into the Zebrocard. So that would be a solid use of the Zebrocoin. So
Okay.
from 2019 till 2021, we team together and we study the market first, right? In
Mhm.
2019, 2020, market was lack of liquidity. There were no much traders, and it was going in downtrend, right? After
Mhm.
lockdown, more people joined cryptocurrency, and the bull market started, right? So that was good
Mhm.
time for us. But due to lack of tech guys and liquidity, we couldn't do well. But we're still trying, and we'll do it. See, the Zebrocoin first was deployed on BSC chain, right, as a
Mhm.
BEP20 token, but it didn't work. The private sale was also not so good, right? We couldn't
Mhm.
raise much funds, so we decided to deploy this code on multi-chains, like on Phantom Chain, Polygon, and
Mhm.
Phoenix and Ethereum as well, right? So
Mhm.
the reason to deploy Zebrocoin on other chain because of the gas fees. See, the Phoenix and Ethereum is a green chain, eco-friendly, no much gas fees, like close to zero gas fee, you can say, right? So
Okay.
the 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 purpose to deploy on these chain is that users of Zebrocoin can transact with low gas fees.
Mhm.
Unlike BSC and Matic also has no big gas fee, but yet Phoenix and Ethereum is close to zero gas fee, and everyone can afford it, right? So this is
Yeah.
our purpose to make it on multi-chain. Also, some people prefer specific chain, like some people only want their coin on BSC chain. Some
Mhm.
some users want on Matic. Some people like Phantom. So this is the choice. We're giving the choice, multi-chain choice.
Okay. That sounds really good. And so I really have
Thanks.
to send you your respect, Mo. You are absolutely aware of what you have. You know what your gem is. You recognize the struggle and you still, keeping it going. So much respect to you.
Yeah.
You definitely keep it going
Thank you very much.
because
Thank you very
it's
much.
gonna it's
Thanks a
gonna
lot
be
for that.
exactly what you want to be. Absolutely. So, do you have any upcoming projects that you foresee, trying to get in motion by the end of this year?
No, Neta. Currently, I'm only focusing on Zebrocoin, right? Because
Mhm.
according to the roadmap, we're supposed to have a Zebrocoin own wallet by end of this year. So we have to focus on that, right? And
Okay.
another thing, we also focus on raising the liquidity. organizing our own liquidity and public liquidity. So we can make some good liquidity pair on different chains, right? Initially, I would need about 10 to 20K liquidity to back the ZUSD. The purpose to create ZUSD is to back Zebrocoin. Because many dexes, I've noticed that on PancakeSwap router, there is a bug or I don't know what, but they eat liquidity. Without reflecting transaction on blockchain, on BSC chain, coins are moving from one wallet to another without letting us know. If you have a pair with a big liquidity on BSC chain, you wouldn't notice that. If there are so many transactions, right? So many swaps, buy and sells, then you won't notice. But if you create a low liquidity and so you will notice sometimes price impacts are also goes wrongfully. Or there are much. Last time there was a sale of 12% of Zebrocoin liquidity on PancakeSwap, and later on price impact was 24%. So we have to. I don't know. I spoke to Benjamin, the Pancake support, but he didn't reply me actually nicely. He just said, "Okay, give me the transaction ID," and then that's it. He didn't say anything. See, I wanted to clarify. I wanted to clarify this by him that what is happening. It's not only me. There are so many complaints about it. If you know that the PancakeSwap router contract address, it's 0x10 something like that, right? That contract is doing something in backend. So so we have created ZUSD, and ZUSD will be swapped for USDT or BUSD from Zebrocoin DApp, right? So there will be no breach, right? So if anyone wants to buy Zebrocoin from PancakeSwap or FireSwap or any other swap platform, right? They have to buy ZUSD first from us, from Zebrocoin DApp, right? Then from ZUSD to Zebrocoin, and vice versa. If they want to sell Zebrocoin for USDT first, they sell for ZUSD, and ZUSD comes back to us via our platform, and we swap it for USDT. So that's the most secure way, in my opinion. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
You're gonna get rid of maybe some more middlemen that kind of sneak in. Is what I'm hearing. You're trying because sometimes there's bots that will use arbitrage, or how do you say that word? Anywho, so there's bots with that will buy your sell and then sell it lower, and then the effect is much greater than what should have been the initial effect. Or they'll buy your purchase, but then sell it lower, kind of thing.
No,
Yeah.
ZUSD is stable coin, so price will be one gem one ZUSD to USDT.
Yeah. I'm just what you're
Right.
trying to circumvent is bots, basically, is what I'm understanding. You're trying to help
Yep.
with get rid of the middle. Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. No, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Mo.
Right.
So what do you
But
see?
but for that, okay, go on.
What do you see the Phoenix blockchain doing for Zebrocoin?
Oh, Phoenix blockchain is a great blockchain, I would say. It's eco-friendly, green blockchain, low gas fee, and especially the Phoenix team are very supportive. They have been very supportive to me from the beginning. I mean, since we got on ZagX.
That's really cool. We're
So,
glad to have you, Mo.
so how do you think about, what do you think about my idea of ZUSD? Is it gonna work? What is your opinion?
Mine particularly, absolutely. I think it could work. There's nothing you can set your mind to do anything. I can't really foretell exactly the numbers Zebra Coin are gonna turn over, but with all the tracks you're already making and all the effort and the work you're putting into it, Mo, it's definitely gonna be exactly what you want it to be. It's going to grow into a really the coin that you foresee it being.
Yeah. Well, initially, we'll go for a swap manually ZUSD to USDT. But later on, it will go decentralized. Like we'll create contract on each chain, each of 5 chains, uh, swap for ZUSD to USDT, just like you do on PancakeSwap, FireSwap, and other dexes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's for the security. You see, everyone in crypto is full of rugs and scams nowadays. Everyone wants security. Everyone wants safety of their funds, right? No one wants to lose their funds or being rugged, right? Like what happened to USD. USD was, if you know about it, Luna USD on Terra
Mm-hmm.
chain. That was same
Mm-hmm.
thing. The stable coin fell fell to bottom. I would say like 0.000 it went to, right. So to secure the price and value of ZUSD, we gonna mint very small amount of ZUSD first. ATM currently there is less than 10k ZUSD on each chain, right? So as we go ahead, as the demand increases, we will increase supply. In case if there is demand decreases, we'll decrease the supply. ZUSD is mintable, possible, audited code, Open Zeppelin code, right? It uses. So we can increase supply and we can decrease supply, we can pause supply, right? And it's not ownable. So the ownership of this contract cannot be transferred to someone else, and there will be no breach. There is not like a hack.
So, if you don't mind, I do have one question about ZUSD.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Yep.
are you looking? So, just for clarification for myself and for others, so the
Okay.
backing for ZUSD, is that going to be backed traditionally with other assets, or is it going to be more of an algorithmic?
No, USDT. It will be backed by USDT. USDT on primarily on BSC chain and Polygon Matic chain, right?
Cool. Yeah, that was
BEP
just the one
20.
question I wanted to check on.
Yep.
Just because I know UST and Luna failed because it was
Yep.
algorithmically backed. So that's
That
just a
was an
popular question I've seen pop up a lot of places about anything that's a stable asset. So thank you for clarifying.
thank you.
The website looks awesome, by the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I still have to build a lot. We have to integrate so many things, contracts and all in website, and a lot of things need to be developed in website yet. We're also planning a mobile application by end of this year, and iOS and Android wallet as well.
Oh, that's cool. You guys in chat.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
in
know if you
roadmap.
see Hype has
That's
his website up. Hype, can you drop a link in the chat if anyone wants to click on it and check out Zoe's site?
well. You see this web app. Primarily, it will be made to swap ZUSD and Zebrocoin. Right. There is nothing much about it. The mobile app by end of this year will be developed for swap and exchange as well, and also wallet to store Zebrocoin, ZUSD, and other coins.
That's super cool. I'm going to open up the community. If anybody else has any questions for us or for Mo, feel free to hop on or drop a message in the main Telegram.
Yes, if any have any question, can DM also.
It was so nice talking to you today, Mo. I'm excited for Zebrocoin.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks for showing
absolutely.
interest in it.
Yeah, and Mo, if there's anything you need from me on the Dex end of things, just keep me posted. Um,
Sure, I would.
yeah, I don't think anything.
Well, I wanted to know one thing. The fight on FireSwap. Are you gonna add token info and pair info as well, like on PancakeSwap?
Yeah. So that's part of the token list that I'm working on building
Yeah,
out.
and that's important,
Yeah, no. So at the end of the day, it's more of a feature that is still partially in development right now. I've got it mostly functional on my end. I just haven't pushed those updates live yet. But this goes for any project. So let's say a project applies to list on the decks. I am going to be setting certain requirements in the next couple weeks just to make sure that everyone is capable of trading safely. But let's say you're trading from Phoenix to Zebro. On the left hand side, once I finish fully building it out, or left hand side on desktop, it'll give you all the specific information about the project, quick description, total supply, contract address.
Very good. That's
and then also
excellent.
work on adding in a website option. That way, if somebody sees it on the list, they can just see, oh, this is all the token info. Click on the links.
You mean, you mean full detail of the tokens on FireSwap?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll give everyone full
That's
access
good.
to
That's
know
great.
what they're
Yeah,
interacting with.
that would be useful. Yeah.
Yeah, and that way it'll also be kind of like a badge of we were listed on FireSwap. You can see all the info about everything right in front of you, rather than in the case of certain things having to go into like the Explorer and get all that info manually. So I've still got to figure out myself. I've got to figure out what specific restrictions I want to put in place for that listing. Initially, I mean, I don't want to say I'm going to be giving it out, but to encourage people to actually start developing, the restrictions are going to be more private and stuff that's more up to my discretion or the rest of the team's discretion. That way, let's say we get in touch with a great project that wants to list on FireSwap and they don't meet the liquidity requirements I have in mind, but they've met everything else, then at that point I would be like, okay, yeah, no, we can list it. Here are some things that you'll need to check off as a team to maintain your listing. So it was something I had talked with Fluffy about a while ago, basically making sure that anyone that gets a listing is encouraged to maintain that listing versus it just staying there forever. Because I'd hate to see, oh, this project migrated to a different project, but their stuff's still listed on there, and then somebody buys it and can't sell. So I'm thinking of a lot of options to make it as user-friendly as possible. That way we don't have issues with really anyone. Now, one other thing I did forget to mention earlier is that we do have now 2 liquidity lockers that are nearly done. I'm waiting on confirmation for one of them, but the second one I know is in active development through a third party. So that one I might not actively promote out of the gates, but the first one is by somebody that's trusted within the community, Matt from Crypto IRA. The difference between his locker and your traditional lockers is it's going to be free to use from what he was looking at. Because he believes that you shouldn't have to pay to lock up tokens to make sure that your users are secure. So that's something that I'm very happy about, because when we locked liquidity on BSC, it was like $40 or $50 for us to just lock the tokens, which I personally, from a security side, I think is obscene that it's costing that much to lock something when the liquidity was literally 4 times what they were charging. So we'll have that coming in the very near future. I've just got to sync up with Matt and check on his progress. And this goes for everyone in the chat, anyone who's watching the recording, you can deploy on Phoenix. Just want to put that out there. If you are concerned about there not being enough options right now on FireSwap, you can deploy stuff on Phoenix and pair it with liquidity for Wrapped Phoenix, regular Phoenix, which ends up getting converted into Wrapped Phoenix, and all of that. So baby steps right now, but we are getting closer to that end goal of being widely used.
That's awesome. Hyperion, do you want to say the thing that is being talked about in... No? Not yet?
Hello.
Hello.
No, I don't think just yet. Rob, do you want to say it? We're gonna wait. I think we're gonna wait until we just have a couple things that have to kind of click in. I think before we say that.
This is why I ask first.
Yeah, let's wait. We're not trying to be super vague, but we have other moving parts. Obviously, for those that have been around, they understand that golden ratio token and crypto Phoenix has always been a governance idea into Phoenix, and we're with the bridges and the decks, we're that much closer to that next step. So that's kind of where we're like, hey, can we say the next part? Not yet. We're almost there, but we've been talking about that. So a little update, I guess, is GPHX. The golden ratio token originally is on Ethereum network for all the holders. We rest assured we will be bridging over to GPHX on the Phoenix network as the governance token, and there will be an airdrop for Fire soon. That's all I'm going to say. But hey, Robbie,
this is what, the third airdrop going out to governance holders so far? That's huge.
Yeah, thank you for the faithful, for those that have stuck it through. I mean, golden ratio has been around for almost 4, if not more than 4 years now, and then CPHX has been around for over a year. So it's like, thank you. We love you guys. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Fantastic. All right. Do you want me to bring us home, or do you want to vamp for a few minutes?
I think I'm all good on my end.
Yeah, I think just remember, be gaining more knowledge during this time. We're still in uncertainty. Bitcoin might still drop. Who knows? Nobody. I mean, you have too many chartists that say one thing, and then another chartist will be like, well, no, because blah blah blah. Like, just my personal opinion. If the media is talking about negative stuff, you buy. If the media is talking about positive stuff, you sell.
Yep.
That's my personal opinion.
That's
you
what
take the data.
I would consider that the grandpa strategy. If your grandpa is wanting to buy Bitcoin, that's probably the time to sell. If he's talking crap about Bitcoin, that's probably time to buy. It's a strategy that has worked for me. So this is
not financial advice.
Not financial advice, part 32. But from what I've seen so far, if your family that doesn't know anything about crypto other than its existence is like, how do we buy? Probably the time to sell, because that's usually a top signal.
Hello, I have one question. Well, FireSwap gonna have its own token, or it has already?
So it doesn't.
Or the Phoenix?
Yes.
Phoenix will be the main token for FireSwap.
But that's my idea. Now, the only reason I didn't go ahead and create a token for FireSwap, like all others have done, is I'm on the team, so it kind of feels wrong to add more onto the plate for that. We do have tokens that can be used for it, which I'll have to sync with some people and figure out specifics for that specifically. So I didn't close the option for it. I just haven't explored the option fully yet until I'm in a better spot.
Well, Robin, how about the mintable token for FireSwap? Like anyone can mint token, like stable coin, right? And you by USDT or another any stable coin, and that token will be locked, so it will be backed by the USDT. How about that?
So we have something called Fire that kind of vaguely goes into that. And
Okay.
You
know, what I'm trying to say is
so there's a token. There's a token that's going to have 1 billion in supply that might be across all the platforms, FireC, FireSwap. and Fire Swag. It will also be used in the duck games, all kinds of. So we do have that token. It's already deployed.
Yeah. And you won't need any liquidity for that to back up, right? Because whoever mints it will add liquidity to the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as far as Fire goes, is we have a static value for it that we can issue to each of the individual products or projects rather. So that's one of the ways we could go about it. For me, like initially with the beta, it was just a whole nother set of tasks to not only launch the decks, but also have a token and implement utility with that token out of the gates. But again, I didn't close that option. It's just that I didn't want to explore that option until I was satisfied with everything else. So, but yeah, I left it open for a reason. I didn't close it for a reason.
So we'll be seeing more of this. I mean, Fire, Ashes, Ignite. They will be released. There will be some that are airdropped, and then they will work in the ecosystem, and they'll have their own purposes, and that's all going to be outlined in version 6 of the Ignite paper, I believe. I think we're almost there with that one. And you can have the exact distributions. Rob is saying 100 to 10 to 1. So in some capacity, there you have it. 1 billion to others. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Ashes, from what I understand, is going to provide a way where, like, say you win the battle or whatever, you will still have something that you can use even if you don't win to continue to upgrade as a consolation, so that it's not just the same people winning over and over, and the people that lose can never get a chance, like has been seen in other NFT games. So if you lose enough, eventually it's like a catch-up, right? Like in Mario Kart or something.
The story of my childhood. My brothers always cheated. I never won anything. Ever.
But even if you lose, you can still lose enough that you can eventually upgrade, right? Like consolation prizes. Soon. Rob says soon. We will talk about soon. All of this soon. Very soon. TM.
Yeah,
soon TM.
I think for us as a team, just looping back to that token or whatever tokens get integrated, not adding liquidity to it is honestly going to be better just because of regulations. At the end of the day, if we are offering a quote-unquote investment, then that can put us, or the majority of us, under potential fire from the SEC, from any regulations that either come into existence or disappear out of existence. The less financially we're involved with some of the products, the better off we are. Now, somebody can correct me on this, but
until they come after our time put in, like, you guys put in 9 months of work, I want taxes. What?
Sorry, we didn't make anything off of it. Yeah. So
it also prevents a problem from happening, like what happened with Axie, right? Where you only had a single reward token and you had liquidity in it, and liquidity has just been like a downward slant over time. And then suddenly you say, okay, goodbye weekly bonuses, goodbye daily sign-in bonuses, goodbye challenge bonuses. By not having it be liquidity based, you encourage people to keep playing and then keep upgrading their stuff and go about it like that.
Yeah, and then if somebody wants to add liquidity to that pair, they can. So it leaves it decentralized, because if we were to start liquidity for something and we need to do something else with it, that inherently makes it centralized, because it is the team that is providing that liquidity, and the team is the one that can remove that liquidity if it's unlocked or is set for a short lock. So, like, from what I've seen, is there's a lot of obstacles to navigate to keep us as a team secure and not under any potential fire from any organization. So it's a lot of navigating the current environment, both within crypto, but also within regulations.
And as much as I didn't like XRP to start, the fact that they are going after the SEC is just something I think that beneficial to the crypto world in general. I understand it's still a very centralized banking idea. I understand that it's still basically a bit, but the fact that they're willing to go after the SEC for something like that that's pretty huge for the crypto, I think.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it'll probably bring more regulations after, but in the meantime.
I mean, like, I'll go against the norm. I'll say, in all honesty, we do need regulation in some capacity. If there's proper regulation that isn't stepping on the toes of either side too hard, then that will open up the innovation a little bit more, because I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are afraid to touch crypto, or even maybe they shy away from the term blockchain as a general technology because of its ties to crypto. If it's regulated in any capacity, I think that will help us in the long term, because if you have something that is even mildly regulated where governments can collect taxes but it's still fair to both parties, then that opens up the door to more traditional finance getting involved. And the more
And that's exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the more traditional finance gets involved, that means that we are all, anyone that's in, not necessarily just invested, but anyone who works within the cryptocurrency or blockchain realm, that means we're doing something right. If investors from these large institutions think that this is the next step and they're willing to put a lot of money into it and they know they can do it safely because of those regulations, then that means we're doing the right thing. Now, at the end of the day, like, crypto isn't supposed to be well regulated just based off a lot of white papers, whatever you have. We all know it's coming. As much as we want to say we're not going to allow it to get regulated, we all have to understand that with regulation, it's going to open a lot of doors for us that currently are locked closed with 30,000 locks on them.
And that's another reason for the foundation. That's exactly why the foundation is key in everything we do.
Because people that know about it just want more security, and people that don't know about it think it's a scam.
Yeah, and if you're able to present a proper argument with the people that think it's a scam, saying, hey, we hit the point where the government wants to regulate us, here are the regulations. Oh, my cat popped in.
Let me out. I had enough of crypto talk. Get out of here.
No, but just looping all back, I think at the end of the day, proper regulation is a good thing. Like, I have always been on that side. I see certain things that pass through various news channels, and I'm like, that's not quite there, but it's on the right step. Like, that's a happy thing for me, because that means, I mean, we've seen a huge growth in the overall market the past 3 years, and a lot of that stems from crypto is more regulated than it was 4 or 5 years ago. People are more comfortable putting their money into, let's just say, Bitcoin and Ethereum just as a staple. More people know about it. More people are willing to put money into it despite the inherent risks of crypto, because the government is almost saying that it is a risky thing to do, but it's safer than other options out there because it's regulated.
Yeah.
And I come from the DGen Moon Boys as well, so I get it. I want to see my 1000x, whatever. But I also, since I've been in this for a while, I also agree with Rxbbn.
Lucky this is recorded.
Fluffy's not here. Rxbbn. So just a little regulation is fine.
Yeah, correct.
As soon as they start banning things, that's when it's like, maybe, I don't know. This is a little weird.
Yeah.
See, in my opinion, if crypto is fully regulated, then it's no more crypto. Then it's security, like traditional stock markets and all. So it should be regulated somehow, but not fully regulated by government or any centralization firm or something. It should be regulated, but in decentralized way. What do you say?
Yeah, because you can't really place saying that the U.S. should have all of the power and regulation behind anything that's worldly. That's getting a little bit weird, right? So
Yeah.
obviously there needs to be some kind of split between what is the regulation and what isn't.
Yeah.
And that's why XRP taking an SEC is good, in my opinion.
Because in my experience, you see stock markets and forex are fully regulated. Still, you see scams there. People scamming.
Yeah, but see, in that instance, they separate. They make it's almost like they wrap the token into the United States from Canada, right? Because then you're not actually trading the stock in Canada. You're trading the wrapped stock in the U.S. because it's not this. It still corresponds with the value, right? But so then you're regulating the wrapped version of it. It's so weird. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
All right, guys. We're over an hour. Fire is officially going to kill me, so I'm going to bring us home, okay?
Questions, comments, concerns in the chat, please, and don't behead any of us. We're just a bunch of crypto people.
I don't feel like writing. Can I ask here?
Oh, Tien, what's up, Tien?
Hi.
I'm sorry for being a bit late. Okay, regulations. I like that, but let's have a word about that. Different regulations Slovenia, regulations in Germany, regulations in USA, in Japan, but most projects are globally oriented and globally used. What are your thoughts about that?
So that was my comment, and I think also Mo was kind of leading into that. It would be really hard for a country to give, these are the regulations for Bitcoin, but they're a global currency. How can you have to agree with all the other nations? You can't just be like, well, in our country, and unfortunately, some of that will happen, I think, for at least a little bit before we understand what a global currency is, because this is a little bit of political, whatever, but the US dollar always wants to be the power structure in the world, right? We have wars over oil and all this and other nonsense. We don't want to see the same thing for crypto, because then it's not crypto anymore. Then it's just
correct.
Right. So
that's going to be one of those ongoing battles. Got to cross that bridge as we get there, because again, the U.S. is going to want to take control of everything. So
on Bitcoin as well.
Everywhere.
Yeah. All right, maybe getting a little too opinionated, but for sure, I think that the best case is to limit the amount of legislation, make it fair and equitable across the world, so it's not too much of a barrier for developers to have to deal with, right? Like, as a developer, to have that in the back of your mind. If Mike was here, Mike is here from Paradox Realms. He had a whole subsect of things he had to even deal with from working with Grand Theft Auto's ecosystem to even work his project into that. Like, imagine that, but then also crypto, but then also SEC, but then it's like, I can see why people would steer away from blockchain at that point, right?
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
That's why we got the foundation set up already, so we're ready to roll with the punches when they start coming in.
Absolutely, and we're all going to have to use our voices to make sure something fair is put into place, not just something fair put in place by whoever's operating it. You know what I mean?
$100%. All right, I'm bringing us home. Here we go. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Thank you, Mo, for being our special guest. We're going to see you all again next week for the 11th. Go ahead.
I would like to thank you guys because you gave me the honor. You invited me here, and also the Phoenix team who supported me a lot, especially Rob and Fluffy, and all of them actually.
Awesome. That's what we're here for. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Wishing every member of the family a fantastic week, and we will see you in the chat.